C. It is characterized by the lower leaves of the plant usually change from green to yellowish and wither off. Smaller leaves on one side may be affected while those on the other side are without any symptoms. When affected stems are cut, they display red to brown discoloration of the xylem. You can control this disease by using varieties that are resistant to fusarium wilt. Also, you should use certified disease-free seeds. You should also increase the soil pH by adding lime or manure if the soil on your farm is acidic. 2. Blossom end rot. This is a physiological condition caused by calcium-nitrogen imbalance in the soil, especially when the moisture level in the soil is low. It is characterized by the fruit rotting at the blossom end of the fruit. The surface of the fruit becomes dark brown and sunken. To control this disease, you must maintain adequate soil moisture at the fruit development stages. Also, you can lime your soils in case of calcium deficiency. You can as well spray your crop with calcium chloride to boost calcium levels in your farm. 3. Tomato mosaic virus. This is a viral disease transmitted by infected seed and plant debris in the soil. You can also unknowingly transmit this disease through contaminated farming tools. This disease is characterized by the shape of young leaves become distorted. The tomato fruits will start to brown internally when they get infected at the mature green stage. Leaves start to mottle with raised dark green areas. To control this disease, you should use only certified disease-free seeds. If you are a tobacco smoker, you should stop. By the way, avoid handling cigarettes while handling your tomato plants as the disease can spread even from processed tobacco. 4. Bacterial wilt. This is a bacterial disease that spreads through infected soil. It can be transmitted easily by runoff water from infested soil. It is characterized by water with a dark appearance oozes when a cross-section of the stem of a wilted plant is cut open. The plant will rapidly wilt and die without the yellowing of the leaves. A grayish slime will ooze when you squeeze the stem of a wilted plant. To control this disease, you should practice crop rotation with plants that are not part of the nightshade family. You can also do spot treatment of infected plants by spraying infected plants with sodium hypochlorite 10%, simply Jeek, or use lime or ash. You can also use available chemicals such as metam sodium to tame the spread. Pests affecting tomatoes. Pests cause a lot of losses in terms of quality and quantity of the crop. Tomatoes are attacked by a variety of pests, the most common being red spider mites. These appear as oval, reddish-greenish with 8 legs that infest tomato leaves. They spin silk threads that help anchor their eggs to the underside of the leaves. A red spider mite infestation is characterized by damages to the plant leaves, causing it to show white to yellow speckling, which later turns bronze. Smaller and lighter fruits produced by the plant. To control red spider mites, you should employ the use of pesticides such as spironolacifan and amitraz. Red spider mites quickly develop resistance to pesticides when used continuously. You should, therefore, use miticides with different modes of action and active ingredients and only use the recommended dosage. African bollworm. This is a type of moth that is yellow to brown that lays its eggs near or on the flowers or small fruits. The eggs hatch into larvae, which then causes damage to the fruit. An African bollworm damage characterized by flower abortion by the plant and sunken necrotic spots. Attacks by bacteria and fungi from the holes left by the larvae, which lead to rotting of the fruit. To control the African bollworm, you should till and plow all tomato fields to expose pupa to desiccation and natural enemies. You can also plant trap crops such as maize and African marigold, which attract the pest before it attacks the tomatoes. You can also make use of selective pesticides thrips, such as microbial control agents insects whose both adult and nymph feed on the bottom side of the leaf, buds, flowers, and also the fruits. Thrips are also responsible for transmitting the tomato spotted wilt virus disease. Damage from thrips is characterized by speckling and small necrotic patches on the leaves. Premature dying and slowing in leaf development. Also, thrips cause distortion of young shoots. Flower abortion in cases where the thrips have attacked the buds. To control thrips, you can employ the use of insecticides such as lambda-cyhalothrin. You can also plow and harrow the farm before transplanting to kill the pupa hiding in the soil. Weed control in tomatoes. Weed control is vital in reducing competition for nutrients between weeds and tomato plants. Slash or uproot the weeds to control weeds on open land crops between rows of tomatoes. Ensure that you remove the cut weeds as they may be carriers of diseases such as bacterial wilt that may affect your crop. Slashing should be supplemented with manual weeding. You can also uproot the weeds by pulling them by hand. You should avoid weeding tomato fields when the soil is wet as it can increase the spread of some diseases such as bacterial wilt and fusarium wilt. Pruning tomatoes. Pruning is a fundamental process, especially for an indeterminate variety of tomatoes. It involves the removal of extra flowers, side shoots, fruits, and diseased leaves weekly. Pruning leads to the early maturity of fruits and encourages fruits to increase in size and uniformity. Also, leaves closer to the soil should be removed to discourage entry of early or late blight. Intercropping tomatoes. Intercropping is essential in ensuring you maximize your returns from your farm. Choosing the right crop to intercrop with your tomatoes is crucial as it will affect the health of your tomatoes. In addition to maximizing your returns on your farm, some plants may be beneficial in controlling pest and disease attacks. Some plants you can intercrop with tomatoes include amaranth, basil, beans, carrots, cucumber, garlic, lettuce, onion, parsley, peas, sage, and stinging nettle. Benefits of intercropping tomatoes with such crops include: basil helps repel insects such as fruit flies and diseases. It also improves the growth of your tomatoes and its flavor. Growing borage with tomatoes aids in improving the growth and taste of tomatoes. It also helps in repelling tomato worms, mint, and parsley better the health and flavor of your tomatoes. Garlic helps repel red spider mites. You can also use garlic sprays to aid control late blight. Do not intercrop tomatoes with plants such as eggplants and potatoes as they are in the same nightshade family, thus making it easier for diseases such as early and late blight to spread. Tomato harvesting and post-harvest handling. Depending on the variety and environmental conditions, your tomatoes will mature in between 3 to 4 months. Before you start thinking about your money, it will be very prudent of you to harvest your tomatoes in stages. Harvesting tomatoes. The stage you will harvest your tomatoes in is dependent on your client's desire and the distance from your farm to the market. The main 4 stages you can harvest your tomatoes in are: 1. Mature green stage. This is when your fruit is mature but still green in color. Harvesting while at this stage will give you adequate time to transport your tomatoes to the market. You should be careful not to harvest the tomatoes prematurely if you intend to harvest them while in this stage. 2. Breaker or turning stage. This is when up to 30% of the fruit surface has changed from green to yellow. 3. Pink to light red stage. This is when 30 to 90% of the fruit has a pink or red color. 4. Red stage. This is when the fruit is completely ripe and ready to be consumed. Harvesting during this stage means the fruit has a shorter storage time and should only do it when the market is ready to receive your produce. You should try as much as possible to harvest your fruits early morning when the temperatures are still cold. The harvested fruits should be placed in a cool shaded and ventilated area to prevent heat and ethylene buildup, which speeds up the ripening process. Post-harvest handling of tomatoes. You should clean your harvested tomatoes using a clean damp cloth to remove any excess chemical residue and dirt that might be on the fruit. You should also separate damaged and diseased tomatoes to prevent the spread of infection to healthy tomato fruits. In preparation to sell your products to the market, it is important to sort your tomatoes according to size and color. This will divide your harvested produce into grades to